skills in 2025? Well, the direct answer to it is obviously not. Come on, we are in 2025, the age of AI, the age of data science. And why only managers and leaders?
हैं? ये क्या हुआ यार? साला ये क्या हो गया यार? सबको काहे हटाए? पागल है
And data science are the strongest pillars, are rather the steering wheel which are driving every and any domain today out there. And if you want to be an effective leader, if you want to be an effective manager, or rather if you are somebody who is looking to upskill yourself or who is willing to transition, you are at the perfect place. And to enlighten us on this amazing topic, today we have with us Samir Swapna, who comes with more than 9 years of experience, currently working at Oracle, who himself is who himself is a fan of AI and data science, who himself is using these tools, who's using the AI and the data science tools to manage his day-to-day tasks. So Samir sir, who comes with more than 9 years of experience today, is going to help us understand more on how can one be an effective leader, how can one be an effective manager using AI. Also, before I hand it over to Samir sir, I would also like to tell you about the amazing course that LearnWay has for exclusively the managers of leaders. Let me tell you guys, the courses that LearnWay is offering for the manager and leader, this course is can only be done for by somebody who comes with experience as a manager or leader for at least 4 years, who has handled a team, because only then a manager or a leader will be able to upskill, will be able to upgrade and understand the power of how you can use data science and AI in your day-to-day life. I will be definitely telling you about the course later. Now over to Samir sir to lead the webinar.
Yeah. So Pratish, even before we start, I'd like to keep this interactive for like 5 minutes, and then I will start with my explanation of the topic. I'll try to wrap it up within 1 hour 45 minutes, and then we'll have like 15 minutes for question and answers. Does that sound good?
Definitely. Also, guys, let me tell you one thing. If you have any questions, if you have any doubts, you can always, Samisa will be giving you time at the end wherein you can, ask your doubts. You can chat with Samisa and he will definitely be handling all your doubts if you have. Right. So in the end, I think Samisa, if you can give them 15 to 20 minutes to ask any doubts.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. So, over to you, Samir sir.
Yeah. So okay.
पढ़ने के
Can the
button
participants type in their
yeah,
queries
पढ़ने
now?
का काम.
I mean, I'll be asking some few questions before I start.
Okay, I'll just get working on it. In the meanwhile, if you can share your
पढ़
screen.
देते हैं.
Yeah, sure.
Generative AI contains basics. PPT नहीं बनाया जाता है. PPT बनाना कितना बार पता है क्या है क्यों है कितना इतना टेंशन होगा जी. साला तुम तो गरीब होती है. तू फकीर वाला बात हो. साला गरीब और गरीब ही होते हैं.
guys, we are getting the chat worked on. In the meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can put it in the Q&A and the team will answer it. Sami sir, you can begin.
Okay.
Delete.
So fine. How many of you, before I start, let me just ask you, how many of you
खत्म है
are,
तकिया क्या छोड़िए
think
क्या
this
बोले
Gen AI is a fad? I mean, it's just an hype circle. Or how many of you think that Gen AI is like the supreme intelligence who will take away your jobs and you don't feel any good about it? So, how would you like to slot yourself into either of these categories? If we can have a poll here, it would have been better. But anyways, so I would like to say that there are actually two categories of people. One who think just like any other. Just a minute, guys. Okay. So there are basically two groups of people. One who think that AI is a fad. Your life before AI and life after AI will not change much. Then there are other group of people who have this AI anxiety. Every day I get pings from people from across different experience levels. They express concerns that their job will go away. AI will automate everything. What will they do in future and all? But there are a very handful of people who are using this opportunity to do well in their jobs, to try to get better, to try to learn things faster. Right. So, hopefully, by the end of this session, I would have convinced you guys that you do not have to fall into either of the first two categories. You do not have to be an AI skeptic, or you do not have to completely ignore AI. Rather, you should start using it as your partner, as your, let's say, junior employee, and then try to make full use of it. Okay. And in the course of this webinar, we'll also discuss a case study that was conducted by BCG along with some social scientists from Wharton University, and they have actually laid out certain important findings how AI can actually augment the productivity of a workforce. So let's say let's go back few years back and think of a time when we first got our first job, right? So be it a tech role like software development, AI, ML engineering, or a pure play business role like that of management consulting, sales and marketing, finance. So you wrote your first code, you started preparing your first PPT and you presented it to your client, or you made your first sales pitch. It was very exciting for you. But 1 or 2 years down the line, you started feeling that many parts of your jobs are monotonous and they are very menial, right? You may not like doing it, but again, you are getting paid for it. The reason you are getting paid for it because the company feels that this menial work still generates value, right? So in that process, it takes away much of your time and you are not able to think about new ways, different ways in which you can actually contribute something meaningful to the company or to the society as a whole. Now, visualize a world where a coder, he or she doesn't have to write these boilerplate codes. A data scientist doesn't have to spend hours and hours on data cleaning, data visualization, the usual stuff that a data scientists like us do. Or a management consultant, for example, they do not have to schedule and coordinate endless meetings. They do not have to make endless notes, update expense reports, and create slide decks that are never really used. Similarly, think of a teacher. Now, the teacher spends quite a significant amount of his or her time in answering in correcting the questions and answer sheets, right? So if these jobs can be automated, then there will be a massive boost in productivity. And for this, LLM is probably the most promising tech to have come over. So if you are not living under a rock and you follow the release notes of OpenAI, then you would have listened to these news, like it has scored much better than an average human in many of the tests. Like if you see here in bar exam, which is for lawyers, GPT-4, it has significantly scored better than an average student. In LSAT, in SAT, which are like the undergrad entrance exams in US, it has significantly scored higher than an average student, even in GRE, Biology Olympiad and Chemistry Olympiad as well. Now, the recent models, the reasoning models like the O series of model, O1, O3, they have actually scored in the 90 percentile in tough Olympiads like the International Maths Olympiad and International Physics Olympiad. So, so these are very, just by, if you do not have much idea about LLMs and just go through the news, and many of these news are further overblown by the AI influencers, then you will start feeling this AI anxiety. What if it is doing so good? Then what am I going to do? But clearing exams is good and all. But when you start actually building it in production, that is where the real challenge lies. If the motive of any of these companies who are actually building these models was to create a super intelligence answering machine, then they have done their job. But to actually integrate in the workflows, that is very difficult. Now, some particular use cases which have actually captured my attention, where I feel the companies are doing a great job, are simply treating LLM as a way to improve and automate the communication. Like there is a startup, an Indian startup called NeoSapiens. So what it does is it has designed a pendant that you can wear around your neck, and whenever you go and meet someone, be it your friend or your manager, or you are a startup founder and you are meeting VCs and all, so it will capture the essence of the communication. It will make summaries of the communication that you had and the open questions that you can ask to the person when you meet again. Similarly, if you guys, many of you must have used Khan Academy at some point or the other, right? So there is a chatbot made by Khan Academy known as the Khanmigo. So what it does is it acts as a private tutor. And if you look at India itself, right, then teaching, there is actually a dearth of very good teachers, and there are people who are actually, there are kids who are not so smart, but with more private tuition and more personalized attention, they can actually do very well in their careers. So that is when that is why we need all these applications which can actually be used for the betterment of the society. Another area where LLMs have actually made a huge impact is video games. Now, I play games a lot. If you would have played games, then there are some characters known as the non-playing characters. So they have these usual dialogues. So no matter what you play the game again and again, they would be saying the same thing over and over. With GPT or any other LLM, now they are able to have this immersive experience where when you speak with a non-playing character, depending on your progress in the game, it will have a different communication as unlike before, where it used to give this parroted responses and all. So having said that, we have simply scratched the surface. So till now we have discussed about what LLMs can do. Now let's spend a little bit of time on what LLMs can't do, or rather, let me rephrase my question: what they shouldn't be used for. Okay. Now let's say autocomplete. Whenever you write a mail in Gmail, it gives you some of the it auto completes your sentence, right? Now that technology has been in existence for the last 5 years. Suddenly a company comes up and says that I've been using LLM for autocomplete. That is not really the use case that you should be doing, because uh, because LLM, using LLM is expensive. You will be charged for the number of tokens that you use, right? So anything that can be done without an LLM should be done without an LLM. Now people who are in supply chain space might be able to relate to it. When I was in HP, I was working on a very interesting problem. The problem was that just like iPhone, the HP laptops come up with a new version every 12, 13 months. Now, you might not notice it because there are very subtle changes in these laptops. The screen might have changed, the quality of screen might have become better, or they might have added a more powerful graphics card to your laptop. There are very subtle changes that you not notice. But from a manufacturing point of view, what used to happen is we had to plan these beforehand, right? We didn't have want ourselves to be in a situation where there is stockouts of new product, or there could also be the cases where we had overestimated that the new product will capture the market very soon. But the fact is that people have actually started liking the older version of the product, so they do not want to buy the new one. They want to buy the older one, but now the older one has stopped production. So this was a very non-trivial problem, and a problem that actually impacted the revenue and the profits of the company. Now, I'm not going to go into the details of what solution we proposed, but using these kind of problems, and you just give a prompt to LLM and say, tell me what I should do, it's obviously not going to work. What you can do with LLM is maybe you can ask it to write a code for forecasting. What would be the forecast for the new product, or what would be the forecast for the old product, or what would be the transition timeline of these two products? Write a code for it and all. You can experiment with that. But the strategy part, how to group together different products, how to actually come up with the transition timeline, which all methods to use, which all models to use, that is very difficult. In fact, some of the models that we have used in this problem, you might not have even heard of it. If you follow a YouTube tutorial of forecasting and all, none of these boilerplate methodologies would actually work here. So in these cases, you should not blindly trust LLM. There is one more drawback of LLM called hallucination, where it produces plausible sounding text. The one you see on my left, right? So this is actually a true thing that has happened in US. So some lawyer used ChatGPT in court, and while documenting his cross references for other cases, ChatGPT actually produced a fictional case, and without verifying the details and all, the lawyer cited it while defending his client, and now the lawyer is facing sanctions and all. So you shouldn't be in that scenario. Similarly, you can, if you do some sort of stock investing and all, you would like to you might ask ChatGPT for stock recommendations, and it will recommend stocks as well. But if you lose your money, who should you blame? Yourself or ChatGPT? That is up to you. So if I had to give you a list of what ChatGPT should be used, then it should be used for generating content. It should be used for question and answering. It should be used for chatbots or talk to your data applications. It could be used for coding as well. You should not use these LLMs for simple projects, which can be done with your typical traditional machine learning methods. You should not use it for latency sensitive workloads, because when you are using a third-party API, there is a chance that there might be timeouts and all. So if latency is important, don't use it. then you do not use it for forecasting, like I have told you about my HP experience and all. And you should not use it for high risk projects where there is chances of data security issues, or where actual money is involved and all. So with that, we move on to the BCG study. So this was actually conducted by a group of BCG consultants and social scientists at Wharton. So if you follow Ethan Mollick on LinkedIn, you might have seen some of his insightful posts in which he discusses how to actually use powerful models like GPT in day-to-day activities and all. So the study was conducted in order to answer three questions. One is, can AI really enhance the productivity of top-tier professionals? Where does AI promise end, and it pitfalls begin? And how should humans and AI collaborate for maximum impact? So this was the setup. 7% of the BCG's global workforce were used. That was roughly around 758 individual contributors. They were mostly consultants. And there should always be an incentive for them to participate in any survey, right? If you do not have any monetary incentive, or you do not say that they will be recognized by the BCG partners, they won't fully attend this survey. So there was some sort of incentivization as well. And before even participating in this survey, the team made sure that these consultants actually had some consulting background. They either belong to the big five, that is your Deloitte, PwC, KPMG, EY, Accenture, and they had no prior experience with AI. The next step what they did was they categorized this group into three different subgroups. So one group was asked to solve the questions without the help of any AI. The second group was allowed to use AI, and the third group was allowed to use AI with some sort of training on prompt engineering. So it was not an exhaustive training, it was like a half an hour training. So that is what it was used. And then they were given the GPT-4 API. So let me tell you a difference between the ChatGPT that you use and the GPT-4 API. So ChatGPT is actually a fine-tuned model of GPT-4 which has been trained on the instruction data set. But the naked GPT-4, the API, it's the pure LLM. Okay. Now they came up after conducting the experiment and all. They came up with something known as the JAG frontier. So you can see. Okay. So the dotted line are the complexity of the tasks, and the JAG frontier is actually kind of wall where anything inside the wall can be done better by AI. Anything outside this wall, human expertise is important. Okay. So when you are dealing with such an advanced system such as your GPT-4, then there is no clear-cut template that for these particular activities GPT-4 will work efficiently. So there is no instruction manual as such. And like the heading says over here, AI is weird. So some of the tasks that might seem very simple for us, like write a 25 word paragraph that you see in this snippet below on AI. So just any person like you and me, we can write it easily. But for AI, it is little bit tough. So it cannot write exactly 25 word paragraph. It has written at 26. If you ask it again and again, it will still make mistakes. But you ask it to write a poem on artificial intelligence, then it will easily write one. Okay. Maybe for humans like you and me, it will be a little tough. Just anyone who doesn't have any experience with writing poems, we might find it difficult. So it is very, I mean, it is very strange that some of the things that might seem easy to humans will seem difficult. And though there is an explanation for it, like which relates to the number of tokens, which we'll be discussing later, still, for production use case, we cannot just blindly trust AI. Now, now they came up with a case study, and this case study was similar to what the consultants actually do on a day-to-day basis. First, what they did was they gave them an assessment task. So assessment task was to group the consultants into different categories depending on their performance. So the bottom 30th percentile, the mid 30th percentile, and the top 30th percentile likewise. And once they were graded on this assessment task, they were grouped into different categories, three different groups where they were allowed to use GPT or not, and then they were asked to do an experimental task. So this experimental task was designed by BCG partners and some of the top executives of a footwear company. So this task was not just academic task; it was actually a business case which these people encounter on a day-to-day basis. Okay, and they tested it on different types of questions. There could be strategic questions like propose at least 10 ideas for a new shoe targeting an undeserved market. There could be analytical analytical tasks like do segmentation of the footwear industry based on user preferences. There could be marketing tasks as well, where they had to write a press release marketing copy for a new product. And there could also be persuasive tasks where they have to act as a CEO and they have to kind of motivate the workers to work hard so that their company can actually gain a significant market share in the market. So based on these tasks, and this was the outside the frontier, I'll come to it in the later. So within the frontier, this was observed. So people who did not use AI, their quality was less than people who used AI. So the blue normal curve that you see here are the people who did not use AI. The green and the red ones are the ones who used AI. One had some training on basic training on prompt engineering, other had simply the tool. And this is what they observed. So the bottom half, the bottom 50th percentile of the consultants, they actually had a significant jump in the quality of the answers that they wrote. Whereas the skilled consultants still had a jump, but it was around 17%, whereas for the bottom half, it was around 43%. And if you look at, if you want to quantify the gains, then it was the task was completed faster. There was about 25% faster task completion. And there was significant improvement in quality, that is 40% improvement. And they were able to solve more number of questions within the stipulated time. So there was the speed, accuracy, both were improved. Now, something outside the frontier. So if we go back to these tasks, so this is something that is very open-ended. Like you can say that I mean these are not so easy as writing a code or making a PPT and all. These are actually tasks that have a significant impact on the top line of the business. Again, the question was like this: if the CEO must pick one brand to focus on and invest to drive the revenue growth in the company, what brand should it be? And what is the rationale for this choice? Please support your views with data or interview quotations. And please also suggest innovative and tactical actions that the CEO can take to improve the chosen brand. Okay. And in these questions, which actually had to deal with strategic initiatives,
बकलोल
something very interesting was
सी
seen.
बकलोल
So the people who did
अरे
not use
उछल लोग जो
ChatGPT,
बोल
they
रहे हैं
actually performed better than people who used ChatGPT.
माथा
So people who had
पाऊँ
absolutely no
कभी
training on prompt engineering performed the worst. So this tells us two important
पर हो
things,
जा
that you should actually learn how to use powerful tools such as GPT in your day-to-day activities, because it can be a significant leveler. So suppose you are someone new, you are not so experienced, you are starting out, and if you start using ChatGPT, you will have significant improvement in your outcomes. Plus, compared to people who have quite some experience in the industry, in that case, there will still be some productivity boost.
उससे पहले भी हम क्लास
Now, the consultants, particularly from the Big Four, they actually like coming up with matrices. So this is something that was proposed at the end of the study. So basically, if you are a junior level employee, like you do not have much experience, and then you are using a very not so powerful model. If you belong to this particular category, then there will still be some. Just a minute. Yeah. Then there will still be some improvement. So, but you have to supervise the full process with human experts. Coming to this quadrant, if the humans, if you have a very experienced consultant, and then you are relying on a very not so powerful model, then it's better to rely on your expertise alone, because the model might produce substandard results compared to a very state-of-the-art model, and it will have significant productivity boost for both the junior level consultants, as seen here, and for the senior level consultants as well. So there are basically two paradigms in which you can adopt this AI usage in your firm. One is like centaurs. Centaurs, that means the mythical half horse, half man kind of beasts, like, right? So basically, you will have to find out a way in which you can delegate work between AI and humans. Or if there is one more way, the cyborgs. So basically, you will ask AI to do everything, but you will have to be responsible for the output that is produced or the final communication that goes out to the client. So whatever be the case, you cannot survive in this competitive world without taking help of AI. Now, a very important criteria comes up, which is known as the build versus buy. So whether you should be building your own LLM, or you should be using the services provided by companies such as OpenAI, Claude, Anthropic, Google, etc. So here is a comparison. So basically, if you are using it, let's say you have very low usage and the usage is unpredictable. In that case, you might want to go for a self-built LLM. This is because, you have to go for an API one, because you do not have to incur the token costs and all. Now, if you need an MVP where you have to deploy it immediately, go for an API based. If you do not have an expert team of ML engineers and data scientists, go for API. If neither of these conditions are applicable for you, it's still better to build your own LLM. By building your own LLM, I do not mean that you build a foundation model like GPT. You fine-tune your model. So this is a sample cost benefit analysis that I have done. So let's say you are spending about $10,000 a month on APIs. So it's better to host it, because you can recover the cost in 1 year. But if you are using it very sparingly, then go with the APIs that these companies
हॉस्टिंग
like
करना था,
OpenAI
इसके
and
लिए भी अलग है
Anthropic have
साइट है,
provided. So
समझ रहे हैं मेरा बात
uh,
ना?
that's the end of this case study. In the next section, what we will do is we will delve into the basics of NLP. So basically, we have to understand how did we reach
मैं कॉल
LLMs
का
from
चल
basic
रहा बना लिया साइट, उसको
frequency-based
लाना है,
models to
उसको
LLMs.
होस्ट करना, उसको
And
डोमेन
this is
खरीदना
important
पड़ता है।
because when you are at the center
ठीक है,
stage of
समझा करो,
handling powerful technology, you
टफन है
just
काम
do
जी,
not have to leave it to your technical team. You have to understand it well. So maybe we'll take a break of 3 to 4 minutes here and then we'll resume. Pritesh?
Yes, definitely, Sameer sir. So, guys, Sameer sir will be back after a quick break of, as he mentioned, 3 to 4 minutes. So, whatever he has explained, sir, your screen is still being shared. If you can stop that.
Okay, I'm just sharing this so that I'll be back in 5 minutes. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So guys, till now, whatever Sameer sir has told, it has been so important and it has been so much informative on how can managers and leaders use the power of AI and help themselves, help to carry out day-to-day tasks. Apart from that, I'm also seeing so many of you are asking so many relevant questions on how can AI assist to for conflict analysis, for team optimization. How is it helpful in the automotive R&D sector? All these questions will be answered by our expert, Sameer sir. Also, guys, let me tell you that the chat is open and you can now chat directly with our with Sameer sir. I have shared a link in the chat. Now, this link is for an exclusive doubt clearing one-on-one session with our specialist. So guys, you can just click on this link and get an absolutely free of cost doubt clearing one-on-one session with our experts from LearnBay. So you just have to click on that link which I have put in the form, fill out the details, and you can book your slot for a one-on-one doubt clearing session with the experts at LearnBay absolutely free of cost. Also, apart from that, I have shared a link. Now this link is for the exclusive, as I had mentioned earlier, the data science and AI course for managers and leaders, which is brought by LearnBay. Now, as this course is only and only for managers and leaders who come with an experience of handling a team, who come with an experience of more than 4 years, and that is what is the basic requirement to enroll for this executive program in data science and AI for managers and tech leaders, right? Now, this program is a golden opportunity to advance your career and lead in one of the fastest growing sector, that is data science and AI. Also, guys, as I told you, to enroll for this program, you need to have at least 4 years of experience as a project manager or a team lead. But then, as I have answered so many questions in the chat, this is for both IT and non-IT. So even if you come as a team leader from a non-IT sector, if you come as a manager from a non-IT sector, you can still enroll for this program, right? You can still enroll for this program and you get to have your own electives. You get live online classes wherein you can ask questions in real time. You can choose domains from retail, technology, consulting, manufacturing, BFSI, healthcare, and you also get to handle an entire project on your own. Also, guys, let me tell you that why this course is so exclusive and so fun. It is because you will be given to handle an entire team. Yes, you heard me right. From LearnBay, you will be getting a chance to handle an entire team of your own, wherein you can handle these people to complete the project. You can guide them as their leader. So you not only get to learn about data science and AI, but you also get to guide an entire project as a team leader of data science and AI. So this course, the brochure for this course is already put in the chat. Also, if you have any questions going forward, you can put it directly in the chat. right? So the chat is open for everybody now, and also, as I told you about the doubt clearing session link, this link is to clear any of your doubts related to the topic, not related to the topic, related to data science, related to AI, related to anything. If you're looking, to upskill your career, if you're looking to transition, if you're looking for that jump, if you're looking for that boost, just get a free one-on-one doubt clearing session, absolutely free of cost. The doubt clearing session is absolutely free of cost. Talking about how long this program is, so this program, which is the exclusive program for data science, in data science and AI for managers and leaders, this program is, let me just quickly tell you. Right, so as I told you about the project session and the team handling experience, apart from that, you also get to go through this entire program, wherein you can get to handle so many projects, wherein you get to learn so much from so many experts from the industry. You get capstone projects and all. This program is for less than a year. The course is for less than a year, wherein you get to handle projects at different points in time, right? Yes. So, yes. You will be given an entire team to handle on your own, and you will be handling this entire team along with the project. So it's a very, very unique experience. It's a very, very different experience. It not only gives you experience as a manager and leader, but it also gives you the experience to handle a project which is again driven by data science and AI, and obviously backed by the giants of the industry. Right, so again, obviously, the webinar on how can managers succeed without AI, the answer is definitely no, because the examples that Samir sir is giving us during this course, it just reinforces our confidence in the power of AI in today's time and age. And the webinar is going to continue again for the next 1.5 hour, wherein Samir sir will keep on enlightening us, he will keep on giving us more and more information on how the world of managers and leaders today is being backed by, is being enforced with the power of data science and AI. So I would request Samir sir to come over and continue with the session.
Thank you, Pratish. I hope you guys took much needed break so that we can start with some of the technical details that are necessary. Before I start, let me tell you that it's not going to be overtly technical. It's something that is that you need to understand, because at some point of time you would actually be handling a team of AI agents, like some of the very basic things like customer support and all are going to be automated. So you actually have to handle these AI, and you have to actually be responsible for their outcome. So it's very important that you have some technical know-how of what an LLM is. I was seeing a question someone had asked what an LLM is. I'll get it. That will be clarified in this half an hour. So let me share my screen again. By the way, this news, as you can see, Accenture's Gen AI bids pay off with 3 billion in bookings. It was published sometime around late September 2024. So this further reinforces the idea that do not worry that jobs will be replaced. Be like a consultant. See in which use cases Gen AI can be applied. OpenAI is still making losses, but Accenture is making profits. Why? Because it is actually identifying the real world scenarios where Gen AI can be applied. So the future is bright. Like Pritesh said, spend some time learning about this technology. Okay. We'll move on to our course content now. Okay. So this is a very interesting infographic. So first there were rule-based systems. Like if some of you work in the financial sector, they might know that the way credit card transactions are approved or declined, there are many rules in place. Then as the transaction patterns grew complex, so they realized that these you cannot just keep on adding new rules or modifying new rules every now and then, and that adds a significant overhead in the system also. So you need people to analyze the transactions, come up with new rules, and it is very difficult. So we moved on to statistical methods. People who have some background in data science might have known that detecting credit card, whether a transaction would be approved or not, it can be done by methods such as linear regression, your naive Bayes and all. And then over the time, as more and more people started using credit cards, so even statistical methods were not enough because the data grew exponentially. So now they had to use a very powerful technique known as neural networks. So with neural networks, there was another level of abstraction, and now we have transformer models. So transformer models is like the building block of your LLM, like ChatGPT and all. So right now it has become very easy. You just have to integrate this model in your workforce. So starting with, let's see how do we understand a word. Let's say I give you a sentence. I am organizing a webinar on AI. Then how do you understand this? First, you try to break the sentence into individual words, right? And you focus on important words like webinar, organizing, Gen AI, and all. And the machine also does a similar thing. So the first step is breaking down the text. So even a sentence like I am organizing a webinar on Gen AI. So it will first break down the sentence into words. Sometimes if the word is complex, like some form of nouns like changing, changed, so it will break down changing into change, changed into change as well. Okay, so that's how that's basically the first step in every advanced technology that we are using. You have to break down the sentence into words, or in LLM terminology, these are known as tokens. Once you have got the tokens, then you have to lemmatize or stem it. That is basically the base of the word. Like the example that I gave, changing, changed. So it will be changing will become change, changed will also become change. So basically you're finding the root of the word, and then you'll have to convert the words into numbers, a process that is known as embeddings. And in the meanwhile, you'll also have to remove some of the stop words that do not add much context to a sentence, such as the, is, and all. Now let me show you something interesting. Okay, so let me write something. Okay, so here we have 7 tokens. So 7 tokens is basically the number of words you have in this sentence, right? So it is, if you add a full stop, it becomes one more token. So this is a very simple example. Now, if I were to show a complex example, so how the sentence is broken into tokens, this is a very complex example. So see, many words map to one token, but some don't. Indivisible. So indivisible is actually divided into 2 tokens. Similarly, when you see an emoji, right? then it is converted into the underlying bytes. So these are some of the these are how this is how tokenization is happening place. Now, since this is a text model and it is not actually a model that is handled to that is used to handle these mathematical equations and all, so it also considers this number as a text, and it breaks down it into 1 2 3 4 tokens, right? So this is basically how you feed the input to a model. The model doesn't understand words, it understands tokens. Next is okay. The last step was embedding. Now, a very persistent issue was there with design using NLP. So basically, we had made significant advancements in tabular data. We had made advancements in handling images and all, but there was still a problem with NLP, and that was how can we represent words in numbers, right? So people who have done again machine learning, they might be familiar with one-hot encoding, right? But one-hot encoding was very sparse. It was not able to detect the semantic relationships between different words. So the engineers at Google, they came up with a very novel solution called the word-to-vec. That is word-to-vector. Now, words are represented as vectors in the high dimensional space. And when you can represent something as vectors, it is very easy to do some mathematical operations like addition and subtraction on top of it. Like in the example that here you are seeing here. So if you subtract men from king and add woman to it, it will give us queen. So this was a very important breakthrough in the world of NLP. It was done in 2013. Looking back, it has been like 12 years, and right now that you are using ChatGPT on a day-to-day basis, this might seem very trivial, but at that point, it was a very important breakthrough, because now you can establish semantic relationships between different words, right? Okay, so this was a very important breakthrough, but there was still one problem with this embedding. So basically, let's say I'm giving you two sentences. I am sitting in a bank. The second sentence will be, I am sitting near the bank of a river. Now, if you simply embed these sentences, right? The bank in the first sentence and the bank in the second sentence will be completely similar. This is because the model still couldn't understand the context in which it was being spoken. Okay, so this was needed to be solved. That we don't just consider words. We have now established semantic relationship that a king and queen are similar compared to, let's say Facebook and Twitter. But still, the human language is very complex. How do you make sense of, let's say, sarcasm? Let's say something called as oxymoron, when we say insanely good as in it was very good, but insane itself has a very negative connotation, right? So just by concentrating on insane differently and good differently, we might misinterpret the context of the sentence. So that is where again the intelligent people at Google came up with something called as transformers. So transformers are two important drawbacks of your NLP process. That is, one, the sentence was being read as a sequential pattern. It was read from left to right. Now, left to right and one word at a time. Now, with the transformer architecture, they were able to process the entire sentence at once, and also they were able to make sense of the context. So not just one single line. They could have given it a paragraph of let's say 5 to 6 lines, and the model was intelligent enough to capture the entire context of 5 to 6 lines. Okay, so here we have the transformers. Now this is a very dense slide. I'm not going to go into it. I would rather like to explain it with some drawings and all. Let me just delete it. Please pardon me, and let me just unshare it for a second. Okay, my bad. So basically, an a transformer has two blocks. This is your encoder, and this is your decoder. So what the encoder does is, again, these are deep neural networks that process the input sequence and produce a continuous representation of the embedding. The decoder then takes these embeddings and it generates an output sequence. So now we are taking an input and the model is internally converting it into embeddings in the form it requires. So like I had explained before, embedding was okay, but still the positional awareness was missing in it. So how do you overcome it? So here what the people did was, along with the embedding, let's say I want to play. If I have a sentence called I want to play. Now, all 4 words will be converted to embeddings, right? But in this model, along with the embedding for I, it added a positional embedding as well, which said it is the first word in the sentence, it is the second, third, and fourth. Okay, and with that, they managed to build a positionally encoded embedding vector, right? Now with this they were able to preserve